Hi, Joe Crivello here, president of AmeriDry. Today we're going to talk about water damaged hardwood floors and how AmeriDry can dry your hardwood floor without removing it. Right here we have a picture of a hardwood floor that got water damage. You can see it's pretty badly buckled right here next to this baseboard. On the other side of this wall right here is a bathroom, and what happened, the supply line to the toilet burst, got the bathroom wet, which was tile, and it went underneath the wall and got all this hardwood in this room wet. And we were able to save this floor. I think it was 5 days. We got it back down to from 37% moisture content down to 10, which we need to be in Colorado around 10%, and we were able to sand it, seal it, and save the floor. Right here, you can see we have a whole room. Actually, the whole main floor had hardwood. It was all buckled, like you see here. What happened here is a supply line to a kitchen sink. Under a kitchen sink burst, and the people weren't home, and it ran for several days. Got the whole main level wet. Went down into the basement. Got the ceiling, the walls, and the carpet wet. We were able to dry all this, and I believe we were there for 5 days drying, and had all the hardwood floor dried and all the ceilings and carpet and everything dried. Here's another floor that was damaged, and it wasn't as bad as the previous two that you just looked at, but it was about 18%, and it needs to be 10%. Okay, so let's talk about the types of drying. So there's positive, there's negative, and there's passive. Positive would be we'd be blowing air over the surfaces or into a wall cavity. Negative is we're sucking air out, or we're sucking air out of a hardwood floor like we're doing right here. These are vacuum panels, and passive would be that we did nothing; it just dried on its own. So right here you can see we're using negative drying, and what it is we're sucking air through the floor that got wet. It's going through these small tubes into the big tubes, and the big tubes run out into a machine that's actually running this. And at the end of the machine, we have an air filtration device hooked up to that because we always want to keep clean air blowing into an indoor environment. We don't ever want to make it worse than what it is. Again, you can see here we're drying a kitchen. The kitchen supply line burst, got the floor wet. We dried this floor in 3 days, and we were able to sand, I think 8 days, and we're totally finished with this job. So as you can see, drying does work. You don't always have to pull a hardwood floor just because it got water damage. We can save them. Again, we have a hallway here on the left side that we're drying, and we have a bathroom here that we're drying right by where the toilet was. The fresh water in the back tank overflowed here and got this wet. If this would have been black water like from a toilet, we would have pulled the floor. We only want to save Category 1 water damage, which is fresh water damages. Okay, here we have a totally different system. As you can see, we have, this is called an E-test system right here. It's heated drying. So what we're doing, we'll usually use heated drying on hardwoods like, maple or cherry or oak, and it depends on how wet it is. We'll use heated drying. So we're blowing heated air through here. And the reason we have this plastic is we don't want to try to dry the whole area, like from floor to ceiling. We want to keep it just at the floor surface so it dries the floor really quick. Now at the other end of this plastic, you can't see this, but we evacuate the air out a window. We're using an air filtration device, and it has lay flat ducting, which is plastic wrapped around going out a window, and so we're evacuating the air, and so it's like a continuous loop, just going back around and around until we dry it. We can usually dry a hardwood floor 4 days, and it's ready to be sanded. Again, you can see right here on the left an e-test system. We're using heated drying, and on the right we're using heated drying. Now right here you see an air mover pointed up. The reason for that is the water came from up above, and we're drying a ceiling right here also. So we're doing positive drying, which is this right here. We're blowing air on a surface. We're using positive drying right here, and so this concludes our heat drying and our negative drying. And so I hope you learned something. Remember, AmeriDry, there's nothing we can't dry. We're happy to help you. I hope you learned something from this. If you have a hardwood floor surface or any surface that gets water damage, call AmeriDry at 719-388-8509 or get a hold of us at ameridry.com. Thank you very much. This is Joe Corvello, president of AmeriDry.